Smith is a total sham, and should I say, sir or ma'am? So after you get your many loves, put on some nitrile gloves and listen in. We'll help you out. We'll help you with some sex throbbing. Sex throbbing. You know you want sex with Robin on Split Radio.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. Happy Monday. Sorry for being so late. My computer totally crashed and I had to kind of restart everything again. But yes, welcome to Sex with Robin on Split Radio, where we discuss sex, kink, monogamy, non-monogamy, any and all of that good shit. My name is Robin Beach. I am a former stripper, former pro-dom, former nurse with experience in cardiology, psychology, and sexual health. And I am currently located on the traditional, ancestral, and of course, unceded territories of the Coast Salish and Musqueam Indigenous tribes, colonially known as Vancouver, Canada. It's Monday morning for me. It's just after 10. Again, my apologies for being late. I was so prepared to be on time this time, and then my computer decided to be an ass. So today's topic, I have to say, I throw it in the chats. Throw the chats if you can hear me. If there's any issues, I'm sorry, my computer was being a real jerk. Today, it's funny. I wanted it to be a light topic, and the more I thought about it, the more I was like, okay, this is actually kind of heavy. I wanted to discuss the whole like getting back out there. I didn't want to say post-COVID because we're not like post-COVID, though we are. I believe we're not in like the pandemic state anymore. I know there's now it's going to get me started. Everyone was upset that Biden had said the pandemic was over, and then everyone's rushing to try to correct him. We are no longer in a pandemic state. So we're not like, it's not over, but we're on a good side. Good morning. Oh, we got some good morning, Robin. Good morning. So in this time where we're not really in a pandemic state anymore, and we are opening up kind of things again, we're seeing people and we're socializing again. What the fuck, like with dating? I'm still like, and I know I'm not the only one. Not specifically with dating, but like getting back for me as like someone who likes to go to sexy parties, to go to kink events, to go to swingers events, to go to whatever. Getting back into that is proving to be a whole, like it's a whole fucking trip. Please tell me if this is also like an issue for you, and what is it in particular, or if it's not an issue for you, you're like, yeah, that's not my jam. If it's not your jam, what about like parties, like just maybe non-sexual parties? It's so much more complicated because there's so many layers to it, which is why I was like, oh, this would be a light topic. And now I'm like, it's so not light the more I think about it, because the questions I have personally are like, are other people ready for this? Who's going to be comfortable with an event? And then, of course, are there any events? There's not a lot in Vancouver. But even just like bringing together some people. If you're like, hey, I want to like have an orgy. I'm still scared to do that because now it's like I need the courage to go back. I don't know. I want to have sexy parties again and go to sexy parties. But like, what the fuck? Oh, my phone's going off. Oh, it's my reminder. It says get to work. I have that set at 10:20 every weekday to remind me to get the fuck to work. Okay, we got some comments here. I got a comment here. If you do want people to know that it's from you, I will put like just a dash and an R at the end, but obviously it can be totally anonymous. Here's a comment. I haven't been to anything since 2019. I want to say same, but I have been to a couple things. I've been to a couple little things, but I'm not like, I haven't dive back in, and I want to go to like a sexy party. I haven't been to like a, no, that's not true. I did. But I've been to like 2 things since 2019 personally. And it still feels weird. It's still been a bit few and far between, and there's still awkwardness. People aren't sure whether to be hugging or what's going on. Here's another comment. It says, I think for me, COVID has provided me with the opportunity to really reflect on what is important to me and what I need for myself. Getting back out there has been good, but also hard. From Christy. Thank you, Christy. That is like, it's real. And COVID, I think, has provided a lot of people, and I would include myself on that as well, with realizing what is important to you. I've realized how much things aren't important in some ways. Has been kind of the nice thing about COVID, where we moved out to the kind of suburbs, and I was really struggling with that. But I think COVID proved to me that I was like, actually, it's fine here. I like my house. I like my space. I can do a little bit of driving. It's not a big deal. But also, the still recovering from things like touch starvation. And it's one of those things where I am past the point of starving. And now it's like, okay, but now I'm nervous to get back in, if that makes sense. Like, it's like, there was a part of me during COVID that was like, you're probably there hearing it. And I was like, I'm like ravenous. I need to get out there. And I just want to hug everyone. But now it's like the opposite. I want to do those things deep, deep inside of me. I love like group sex, and I love just any sexual connection with people. And it's not less valuable. I know some people are like, but it's a really sweet, intimate thing you should only share with one person. And I'm like, if that's your jam, I totally respect that. I like physical intimacy. I love sensuality. I love sex. No shame. And so like I have friends that I will have sex with or just cuddle with or whatever. And I've been missing that. But now I'm like trying to get the courage to get back into there. I'm still nervous. I'm still... You almost feel like you're new at it again. If that makes any sense. And it has been hard. Because I want to like organize stuff, but I'm like, is anyone else ready? Is anyone else going to host something? Who's ready? And how do we do this again? I guarantee you, I'm going to get a group together and we'll be like really awkward. What do you do? What do you do? Oh my goodness. Got some more comments. I'm just going to, come on. Sorry. Everything's slow this morning. I hope I'm lagging. Hey, Robin. Yes. Could be a few people. The mystery continues. And I've got another comment here from Christy. It totally makes sense from a science perspective. We had a perceived threat, so our brains will struggle adjusting to facing a perceived threat again, even though it's not as big of a threat now as it had been. Christy, again, thank you. And yes, we are cell responding in that way. I know that I felt it in myself walking into a grocery store without a mask and suddenly feeling like the anxiety that comes from it. And it's not an anxiety that comes from at least from my perspective, my anxiety when it comes to going to places or being around people right now don't come from my conscious, logical forefront thoughts. I'm not thinking, oh no, I'm not wearing a mask, I'm going to get sick, and then I get anxious. That's not what's happening to me. I'm just in a store and realizing that there are people around, and there's this instinctive, as Christy's mentioning, it's that brain, it's been really drilled into us, and that's been our culture for so long, that it has affected us in terms of classical conditioning, basically, is what I'm saying. We've been conditioned at this point, a lot of us, to be nervous around strange people or several people or something like that. So I'm still, I have to say this. I went on a date. We went to a restaurant and it was like, I had a great time. Don't get me wrong. This date was great. Like nothing wrong about the date. Just speaking in terms of being in a restaurant, I haven't been to a restaurant in a while. and like no masks and or anything like that. And it was bizarre how normal it was, if that makes any sense. Like it felt like it was 5 years ago. Like I'd just been thrown back 5 years ago. We're in a busy restaurant and there's, staff singing happy birthday to a family over somewhere else. And I don't know, staff moving around. Like it was just so normal and packed, and I didn't see one mask, and it was awkward because I was like, this is just like how it was, but it felt surreal. Doesn't make any fucking sense. Obviously not nearly as traumatic, but if anyone's familiar with The Walking Dead, when they get to Alexandria and they're all having like a dinner party and the guys from The Walking Dead, the cast is like, or the characters, I should say, they're just looking around like, what is this? This is normal. I'm not okay with it. What do I do now? And so on, dating, still being in close proximity with a date still feels a little awkward, and I'm trying to figure out how to get past that. Oh, Christy says exactly that, Robin. Yeah, thank you. That's how I feel. I'm glad I'm not alone. I know other people are in that situation. So, yeah. What do we do about it? What are you folks doing that? And the title that I put for today was, are we ready to get back out there? And I put parentheses because there are folks that have been interested in going to maybe kinky things or sexy events during COVID. And if it had not been for COVID, they would have probably been attending munches and starting to attend maybe workshops and events during that time, and they didn't have that opportunity. So it's like they've been waiting for a couple of years to start going. So those are for the folks, you don't have to include the back if you're like, I want to get out there. Or maybe you're interested in, I met a lot of people online during the pandemic, or during, lockdown times, I should say, that were like, yeah, we're interested in opening up our relationship. We can't right now. So everyone's waiting. And so now it's like that post, how are we ready? I want to be ready, but of course there's still lingering conditioning that's going to happen, and I'm not sure exactly how to get past that. Remember, this whole world is going through this trauma at the same time. It's like collective, literally global trauma that all of this globe has had to go through. So, like, what do we do? I mean, if someone asked me, I would probably just say, be open about it. And I'm a pretty open person. So I've been open about it and being like, this is still really uncomfortable and awkward for me. And I do want you to know that I'm interested in you, and I'm not exactly sure how to act. Like I already struggle enough with that sometimes, like flirting and shit. And now we're supposed to do that, like while we've been conditioned to fear closeness and physical contact and breathing the same air. And I'm losing my mind. So just being open about that, being like, I am feeling awkward and this is what I like, but maybe we should just take this slow. What have your approaches been? This is where I want to see in the comments too. Do you feel you're ready to get back out there? Have you been getting out there? What do you do? This is a place for us to discuss and share and try to be a community here. I got some comments popping up. Let's go. Oh, Sean, that's what the S was from. I wondered. That was one of the S's. Thank you. Hi, Sean. Sean says, I mean, I met my current partner because of the pandemic. Facebook poly groups for the win. Sean, yes, a lot of people meeting online. So that's definitely an option. I mentioned this, throughout the pandemic a few times, I'm sure, but going like online dating is definitely different. People have certain opinions, of course. This has all been very polarizing. And so I would message somebody online, like on Tinder or whatever, with like how's COVID life treating you? And their response would basically tell me whether it was a deal breaker or not. If they were like, this is just me, I'm just saying it, okay, everyone's different, but legit, if I get a response like, I legit had one response that said something to the effect of, well, I'm not a sheep. I think for myself, and I'm not listening to the craziness out there, and I'm going to live my life and not listen to scientists because they're all conspiracy, whatever. And I was like, nice knowing you. Definitely didn't need to waste my time on that one. So kind of a plus. It'd be pretty easy. And even in the, descriptions of someone's profile might give some of that away as well. Always read those, by the way. Please read those, the descriptions. Okay, more comments. We've got, oh, it's Christy. I have the whole thing, so I can read all of it out loud. It only shows part of it on this screen. And it says from Christy, we have to push through the anxieties if we want, and we have to do the hard things, like changing any behavior, like a new habit or stopping a bad habit. We have to be intentional about our actions and find our, quote, new normal again. I've been going to, where's the rest of it? Social events without touching, then move into events where you do bits of hugging, then larger events. We have to recondition our brains. It's really interesting working with small children who've only known this world. Watching their development has been wild. Thank you, Christy. That is awesome. And you are absolutely right. Exposure therapy is a thing. I know that it works well for me, where you expose yourself to the thing that is causing you anxiety. And each time you expose yourself, and something positive happens in particular, or if nothing negative happens, it is better if you have some positive reinforcement. But eventually your brain will start to over and over again go over that thing that is causing you anxiety, that your brain perceives as a danger. And you keep doing it, and your brain goes, oh, and I didn't die. And the next time it happens, your brain remembers, oh, I remember this situation. I didn't die. It's okay. And eventually it will become easier, especially if you introduce a positive reward for doing the difficult thing. So you're absolutely right. It is, and it's hard. It is hard to do those things. And I think, personally, I think being open about it is important because, again, this isn't like a secret. This isn't a trauma that people aren't aware of. This is a completely, collectively global trauma. So it's not like it's a secret. It's all right. It's all right. Let's talk about it. Thank you for that, Christy. And yes, I'm really, really fascinated to see what it will be like. The studies that are going to come out. I'm really excited. There's going to be documentaries. There's going to be all kinds of studies based on the long-term effects of various demographics of human beings, children, babies, animals, I hope. Because I have children. I've noticed a lot of interesting stuff from other kids as well, different things that must have affected them in that way. Anyways, I can't wait to see all the studies that come out on this. Anyone else? A comment here from Sean. We got a couple. Definitely been getting back there, Sean. I'm really glad to hear that. What has that been like for you? Has it been anxiety inducing? What about the other people around you? Like when you go to an event, are they still skittish? And are people open about how awkward it is? I know I've been awkward being like, are we hugging yet? Are we good? Do you want to hug? No pressure. I'm hugging. Anyone? Can I have like 1 million hugs, please? I want to hug you. And if you don't, that's fine. But is anyone hugging? Anyone hugging? That's pretty much how I feel. And Sean says, nice choice in lipstick, by the way. Thank you. I got a new stain. I'm looking at playing with darker lips because not. Thank you. Oh, and is that an M for Mandy? I do love that lippy. Mandy, how you doing? I hope you're doing good. I know I wanted a light topic, and I was like, let's talk about getting back out there. And it totally wasn't light at all. So, oops, that's okay. Getting back out there. Yeah. How has dating been or non-monogamy? Just, it's a whole thing. Oh, Mandy's got another comment here. Oops, I started. That's okay. It's special. Mandy says, I definitely ask people way more about hugs than I used to. Totally. I mean, I was already asking, but I think it's definitely changed. You approach with more caution, like a strange dog. Are you okay? Are we good? Can I hug? Yes? Okay. Gentle. I feel that. It's been a total trip. And I haven't been on the online dating scene in a little bit. What's it like right now? I think the last time I was really doing some online stuff, it was more like a year ago when it was people were getting vaxxed and I was feeling ready. And then you would see some really obvious, you'd see where people would stand pretty clearly online. It's kind of interesting that way. I'm starting to go to stuff again. Again, recovering from surgery. There was a party this last weekend and I decided to not go. I really, really wanted to go, but actually tomorrow is my 8-week mark after having my hysterectomy. And I'm still not 100%. And I wanted to take it easy and not put myself in a position full of temptation where I felt like I might be in a position where I would kind of throw caution to the wind a little bit and be like, you know what, I deserve this, and I'd jump in. So I decided to remove that temptation and just not go to the party. Let's try to be responsible. And I'm going to go to the next one in November. And I'm also trying to put together my own little sexy event. My birthday's coming in October, and I like to celebrate Halloween and my birthday at the same time because I would much rather celebrate Halloween than my birthday. So I like to do a Halloween thing with a birthday cake, basically. And also my metamor is having a birthday near October as well. So we decided to have like a joint little Halloween sexy party. It's a small one. I'm still nervous, but we'll see what happens. Because I'm like, are people going to want to do this? Are people going to want to be sexy? Or are we all going to stand around awkwardly? That's okay too. We have to be gentle with each other. A good reminder for folks who are getting back out there, if you're especially non-monogamous, but really truly like anyone who is sexually active, go get tested. It was weird for like 2 years not getting tested because I wasn't having sex with anyone. No, I think I still got tested like once or twice in there. But now I got to go back to the regular, getting tested on a regular basis. That's another topic we've talked about it before, but how often do you get tested? I say that goes with how sexually active you are, quote unquote. How many sexual partners you're having, if you're having new sexual partners, if your partners are having new sexual partners, etc. Depending. It's not a lot every 6 months, but usually I'm like every 3 to 4 months, I usually get tested depending on how slutty I'm being. So yeah. I'm still not sure about what are you folks doing for dates too? Like, cause just going to a restaurant was really weird. I liked it. It was nice. Maybe that's just it. Christy's right. I have to force myself to keep going to restaurants because it was so weird. I need to get back into it. Has anyone been going to restaurants and bars and stuff? I feel like I'm the only one that hasn't really been doing that. But maybe it's not just me. I have some fun announcements for events that I am going to be doing because, and this is another thing that had me thinking about, are we ready to go back out there? It looks like there's going to be a lot more conferences and parties coming up in 2013. I almost said 2013. I'm old and tired. What year is it? Okay, 2023. There's going to be a lot of events, I think, because I'm getting quite a bit of calls, actually. Calls and emails. And please keep sending them if you're interested in having me. I'm thrilled that I'm getting asked to go present and travel at places again. I'm nervous and I'm excited. October, I believe, the weekend of October 17th, I'm going to be presenting at Dark Odyssey in San Jose. So if anyone is near the area of San Jose, let me know. It's going to be an awesome time. I will share. Okay, this is fun. Oh, hang on. I got a comment here because I got fun things to share about Odyssey. Excited, and this is one of my ways of trying to get back in there. Okay, what does Mandy say? Mandy says, walk in the park, less people. Putt-putt, less people. Netflix and chill, no people. Putt-putt. Are you a golfer? Are you talking like mini golf? Or are you like a golfer? We have a couple. We have like the place that I would go to for mini golf, where in the kind of city I grew up in, Abbotsford. It actually got flooded, but I think they fixed it and opened it up again. It's funny because it's like a basement and it was like an under the sea theme and it got flooded, and which is sad and awful, but people were kind of laughing about it because it was actually underwater. You know what I love doing? I love going, but this is like definitely more people situation. Go-karts. There's a really, really great indoor go-kart place in Richmond. It's like one of the fastest go-karts that you can get out there, and it's pretty fun. Mini golf is a good date thing. Maybe see, I like taking people go-karting, and it's not exactly an intimate date because you're in different vehicles, but I think it's so much fun. Mini golf, that's a good date idea, actually, because you do have to kind of maintain space from other people. Okay, so I'm going to share something I'm doing at Dark Odyssey. The event organizers, always thank your event organizers. The amount of work they do is like ridiculous. And anyone that volunteers, it's like the amount of work that goes into putting a conference together there's a reason I don't do it anymore. They asked me as a presenter to do 4, and they kind of quoted things. And so it could be divided into, they said workshops, but also you could do like a munch or a group discussion or like hold like a little event if you want, and that would count as one of your things that you do. That's not uncommon for presenters, that they might ask a certain amount of things and then give you some leeway of like, do you want to do an event or do you want to do a discussion group or like a queer night or something? And they threw some ideas at me, and I was like, you know what? I did see one. Someone tell me where or what event did this, if you know what I'm talking about, if you are familiar, because I don't actually remember where this was or which event did this, but it was at a weekend con. It was a kink con, and they had basically like a pitch black dark room that intentionally stayed pitch black, and they had an attendant on the outside of the door with a sign-up sheet. And it's like, so you can look at the list and see who is in that room if you want, and then you sign your name when you go in. And it's basically like you can't see who's in there. You can have some fun in the dark. I'm like, that sounds awesome. And I think for me at least, that sounds like a good idea. Post-COVID, like sexy times orgy possibly, is that maybe it'll be easier if it's pitch black. So I asked if I could do that. Please tell me if you know which con you've seen that at or what city that was in, because it was somewhere in the States. I don't remember. And I thought that was a really cool idea. So that's what I asked for, was like a dark room. And so that's my like event. I'm holding a dark room orgy night. And I'm so excited. Tell me if you think that would cause for you. Would that be like more anxiety not post-COVID, post-lockdown, post-pandemic state in a COVID world? Would that make you more anxious not being able to see? I feel like for me, it would be kind of nice. We're still talking, like you can still hear each other if you're hearing. I do have some hearing loss in my left ear, but I can hear enough that I would be okay in a dark room. What do you think? Oh, was that Sean? Sean knows. It was Frolicon. Of course it was Frolicon. Frolicon's awesome. That's a really great con in Atlanta, Georgia. Wicked hotel. I love that hotel. Highly recommend Frolicon. It's really fun. Thank you for letting me know where that was, because I don't remember. You see really cool things at different cons. So I like to recommend that folks go to them. They can be really expensive, obviously, but volunteering helps. There's certain things you can do. I just really, really valuable. Constant workshops going on, community, wicked connections. Oh, that was you, Mandy. Thank you, Mandy. Did you organize that room, that event? And if so, can you give me any tips for that? Because I'm technically the organizer of that event. I do have the organizers hosting it for me, but it's something that's like, that's my thing. I'm supposed to be there and do. Because I want to make sure consent's cool, right? So there'll be all kinds of things about that, and you've got your sign up sheet, and I'm excited. I think it will be a little bit easier to have interactions when I can't see them. Is that weird? Is that fucked up? Maybe it is, and that's okay. Yeah. Would that be easier or harder for you? Here we go. Mandy's got another one. It's a lot to organize the dark group. Make sure you create the waivers. Ooh, the waivers. Yeah, of course. Thank you. I'll talk to you and get stuff from you, Mandy, because I just love the concept. I think it'd be really, really fun. That is so cool. And of course, as always, I have to discuss and where is it? I found it. Gotta talk to those sponsors. AdamandEve.com, code SWR, 50% off almost any one item plus free shipping. What's AdamandEve.com? It's a website full of all kinds of sex stuff, basically. And it's a huge variety, which is kind of what I like about it. I have told them I don't like that their website is really gendered, and their products, the way they organize them, tend to be kind of gendered. I gave them that feedback. So if you feel like you're okay ignoring the men, women, couples, it's got a ton of awesome stuff, and the range is really wide. So you can get really nice, fancier, expensive, with all the bells and whistles toys, or you can get kind of the more standard, financially accessible ones. Either way, with the code SWR for Sex with Robin, you're getting 50% off almost any one item, plus free shipping in US and Canada. So I'm using it, and I'm recommending other people use it to get themselves like a really nice toy. It doesn't have to be a nice one. You can get one that is a bit more financially accessible and then pay even less. So I like the option. If you want to go for that, do go for that. And of course, using the promo code does help support this channel, helps pay for the expenses of what I do, which do have expenses. And I'd like to be able to do this more and more. So it's always appreciated. And if you also are interested in becoming a sponsor, please let me know. We can have some fun times working together. I'm all about sex positivity, as long as everything is inclusive and like sex positive as possible. Like, this is where we can talk about it. I want, to help create and be a part of a safer space and a community for us to be able to talk about sex, because sadly our culture is not super on that. Wait, I got another comment. It's Mandy. I miss you and I love you. She says we can connect later on it, but give femme folks time before mask folks enter. Can you elaborate on that? You said we could connect later on it, but now I'm like, what? We got to talk about this. You can't just throw that out there, Mandy, and then leave. What? I love you, Mandy. What? I need to know more about this. Love you, Mandy. I miss you. I hope you're doing well. She's probably typing like crazy right now, or going, shit. Because you can't just say that. Oh my goodness, what a morning. What a morning. We are almost done September. Okay, for reals, anyone have their Halloween stuff out? I've started putting my stuff up. I've started, and I am not ashamed of it. But I've it's all over the house right now. I got to get it all outside, but I'm worried everyone's going to be like, it's too early. Whatever. Let me get my stuff out. It takes a long time. I will also keep you folks updated. Oh, wait, here's Mandy's comment here. Mandy says, femme folks are hesitant to go in sometimes when it is a shared space. It gives femme folks a safe femme-only space. It is much appreciated. So are you saying, like, for the first hour, for example, or first 2 hours or something like that of this dark room, it should be femme identifying folks first only, as opposed to like having the door open and it's all mask folks going in. Like, is that what you're saying? You want to initially create it for, okay, yes, she's saying yes, yes. Okay, that sounds good. That's a good idea. Thank you for mentioning that. Okay, so for like the first hour, 2 hours, what's better? I don't know. You tell me. I don't want to do any work and think. I think an hour, maybe 2 hours. It depends how long it goes for. But okay, thank you for that piece of advice. I really, really, really do take that to heart and will figure that out. I will do that because that's a good idea. I do appreciate it. Miss you and I love you. Anyone else traveling? I have not been on an airplane yet. Not been on an airplane yet. I'm also traveling to Whitehorse in December. That's going to be awesome. I'll try to find moose for you, Mandy. I've got a comment. I have seen separate SIG dungeon spaces at events. And now I'm stuck on SIG. My brain is apparently not functioning. SIG dungeon spaces. SIG. What is SIG? Separate SIG dungeon spaces at events. Someone help me here. SIG. SIG dungeon spaces. I've seen separate SIG. I'm just repeating it over in my head so I can try to figure out what that means. I need to Google this. Someone help me. What is SIG? In the meantime, Mandy says, Moo says, I love and miss you too. Yeah, Mandy really, really, really wants to see a live moose. And Mandy's convinced, I think like a lot of Americans are convinced, that Canada is just full of mooses roaming around everywhere. That is not the case. I also live in the city. There are no mooses in the city. I'm sorry. I don't get mooses in my backyard. I was about to say I wish I did, but I don't. Mooses actually scare the shit out of me. They're really pretty and super cool. I love them, but mooses can be really violent. They are herbivores, and yet you piss them off, they will fuck you up. Do not mess with a moose. Oh, special interest groups. Thank you. My brain was like not working on that one. I like that. Yeah. And I have seen more of that, I would say. I was seeing more of that and then COVID hit. So I hope to continue to see, special interest groups. And I've seen, like I was mentioning, with presenters that are asked to maybe host a kind of like special event or night. I think that is a good idea because that's created more of the special interest groups where you see like specifically whatever it is. You might see like a non-binary munch or like a discussion group on, and it's great. I do love it. So thank you for clarifying the SIG separate spaces. That's a really good idea. No mooses. Aw, damn. Yeah, I'm sorry. You don't just go seeing a moose in Vancouver. No, I'm sorry. You would have to go, and it's not easy seeing a moose, like depending where you are, because they're going to be in more wilderness kind of forested areas. They tend to come out only around like dusk and dawn, certain time of the year. It's like a whole thing. So it's not as easy to see a moose as you would think in Canada. And I'm really sorry because I really want to help Mandy see a moose. Okay, we got some more comments. We got to finish up here real quick. But yes, traveling. Let's talk about this stuff. I just got back from DC for MSc, and I'm going to LHPW in November. LHPW. I know that one. I know it, but I don't know it. That's awesome. Yay, events are happening again. Yes. Dark Odyssey in San Jose in October, and I'm really, really excited. Ooh, I want to do a Halloween theme scene. Okay, that's a whole other thing. LHW is in Atlanta. Oh, I miss Atlanta so much. I want to go. I to Florida. Oh yeah, Atlanta and DC. Look at you traveling. That's awesome. I'm not there yet, but it's happening soon. I'm going to Dark Odyssey in October, and then I'm going to Whitehorse in December. And then, that's in the Yukon, by the way, if anyone's familiar. I don't know, my American loved ones. Yeah, Leather History Preservation Weekend is LHPW. I knew it was something leather, but thank you for giving me that. And then in January, I'm going to be going to Halifax to do some teaching there. It'll be really fun. But I need to go back to the States, I guess. Bring me back to Atlanta. Somebody asked me to come to Atlanta. I should be applying. I should be applying. I should do that. My alarm told me to get to work, so I should be applying to things instead of just asking and waiting for people to ask me to come. So I got to put the work in. And everyone, just say hi to Gary. I brought Gary out. Just say hi. Hi, Gary. And then as we kind of finish off, I wanted to just let you know what's going on next week for topics. Because again, I was like thinking this week would be lighter, and it's kind of a little heavier than I expected, at least for me. It's still hard. It's hard to get back out there and to go to events and not feel that anxiety. But Christy had amazing points. She's right. We kind of need to do it. And we can be gentle with ourselves in the meantime. Maybe take things slow. Maybe be open about how difficult it is for you. I'm kind of a little bit more of an extrovert, and so I do like to find and keep introvert friends. So I'm here for you. I'm here for you if that's what you want. Next week, I have a really interesting topic, and Mandy, I do want to talk to you about it because you might be interested in it too. Someone requested a topic, and I'm all over it, but it could be a heavy one. It is a heavy one. Someone has recently requested the topic of game changers, game-changing relationships. And that's a whole thing. So I do want to get into it next week. Beforehand, feel free to let me know some of your thoughts, or if you had a specific question about game-changing relationships. And if you send them to me, I'll put my stuff up. You can message me on any of the social medias at Sex with Robin. There's also, of course, like a Facebook page and all that other stuff. But yeah, let me know if you have specific questions or thoughts on game-changing relationships. And if you're not familiar, a game changer is, it can be used in any context, but it is often a term often used in non-monogamous dynamics and communities where you meet a partner that actually does affect the rest of your relationships as much as we're like, no, you can't have that happen. A game changer is like, okay, no, this has made me realize something. It maybe had them realize they wanted to live their life a certain way. It could be a healthy, really, really healthy game changer where I've seen, and we can again talk about this next week. He's usually pretty open about it, but I want to be careful. I was a game changer for Brandon, in that he was like, whoa, this is what a healthier relationship looks like. Oh shit, my other relationship is clearly showing me that it's not healthy. So that was a game changer. Doesn't necessarily have to be that case, but that's basically the concept of a game changer in a relationship. You meet somebody that makes you realize, oh no, this is what I want. Or maybe I'm realizing something about my life that I really need or I really want, and that changes the current life and relationships that I have. Let's talk about that next week. And oh yeah, Mandy likes it. She approves. Yay. Okay, so we're going to talk about game changers next week. And again, send me your questions or your thoughts. And then again, when it comes to this topic, let me know what you think. Are you ready to get back out there? Is this difficult for you? And if it is, what do you do to help yourself get more comfortable? We're all in this together, like in every single way, like really, truly, the entire world has felt this trauma. So we're all in it together. I love you all so much. And thanks for listening. And thank you so much for interacting. I like keeping things a conversation. And yeah, I will see you next week. Again, I got to get back to posting and being more present online. I feel like I kind of slipped away while healing because I was grouchy. Whitey. But let's get back into it. I love you all so much, and see you next week. Mwah. Don't forget, if you have family or loved ones that don't accept, support, and love you for who you are, I am your family now. Bye.
Butt plugs, dildos, polyam. The loose smith is a total sham. And should I say, sir or ma'am? So after you get your many loves, put on some nitrile gloves and listen in. We'll help you out. We'll help you with some sex.